And so they're working together with Elon. And I think we're doing a really great job.
People are asking us to give them hope and to continue to fight, and I will do just that.
Okay, on one hand, President Trump saying the people who are being let go at the federal level are not the good ones. On the other hand, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty saying that people are asking Democrats for help.
She has been an outspoken opponent of the plan to shrink the government, which opponents describe as chaotic. We've been trying to get answers from our lawmakers, including Beatty, about a number of decisions being made by the new Department of Government Efficiency. None so far able to offer up anything more than we've already been briefed. Among the topics, the cancellation of the lease at the federal bankruptcy court and the potential sale of the Bricker Federal Building. Both of those are in downtown Columbus.
And of course, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty just happened to be in town today for an education event. Mike McCarthy was able to track her down and ask her some very important questions directly. Mike, what does she have to say?
So, Rodney and Jessica, this is something we have been watching as part of our Waste Watch reports, keeping a very close eye on the Department of Government Efficiency's website, or DOGE. Today, we found even more government offices impacted by cuts right here in Columbus, and we asked Representative Joyce Beatty about that directly. Literacy was the reason Representative Joyce Beatty came to Woodcrest Elementary. We talked to her to try to get a read on what's happening with DOGE canceling leases for government offices in Columbus. Has your office at all been involved in that process, notified of where things stand? What do you know about the cancellation of those leases?
We receive the same notice you do, public notice, or we hear it because people who are losing their jobs, people who are being transferred, they're calling our office.
The website for the Department of Government Efficiency now lists 3 more impacted offices. DOGE claims credit for canceling leases for the FDA here on High Street, the Small Business Administration in this East State Street high-rise, and the U.S. Geological Survey on Bush Boulevard. DOGE says those cuts will save roughly $2.4 million. We don't know if the offices will be relocated, nor what it means for any workers. And questions remain about the canceled leases we told you about last month, including what's happening to the U.S. Bankruptcy Court clerk's office downtown. Have you been made aware of where that court will go if that office closes?
Absolutely not. As a member of Congress in the great state of Ohio, in this district where we're affected, I have not had anyone from the administration office call and say, here's what we've done after the fact. Getting it ahead of time, no.
Initially, the DOGE website claimed canceling the leases for the bankruptcy court and the Social Security Administration would save millions more. But now, that site shows a savings of $0. As we told you last month, those leases are set to expire next year already. Now tonight, we are not trying to make this a partisan issue. I talked to Representative Beatty because she happened to be in town, but I also reached out directly to Ohio Republican Senators John Husted and Bernie Moreno with similar questions. Husted's office told me late today they still have not been updated on these buildings here in Columbus, but he expects the president's team will work to quickly resolve any unintended consequences. He is part of the Senate DOGE caucus, which has no Democrats on it. So far tonight, I have not yet heard back from anyone in Bernie Moreno's office. Guys?
Well, Mike, I know some companies are starting these mandated return to work orders, but some people are still going to be working from home. The big question is, now we have these former federal spaces that will be open and empty. Who's going to want them? So
that certainly is a big question, and it's a question that our colleague Dave Winter down in Cincinnati had as well. He has been looking into this and trying to figure out what's going on with lease situations there in Cincinnati. And he spoke with someone on the Public Building Reform Board, which is a government function created under President Barack Obama. It is supposed to find ways for the government to reduce its real estate costs. For instance, the Bureau of Prisons leases 19,000 square feet in downtown Cincinnati, but it uses far less, only about 7,000 square feet. So back to your question, Jessica. Reform Board member Dan Matthews says there is interest outside the government for these very spaces.
There's a lot of interest on the private sector. And I think a lot of markets, while they're not looking for office space, they're looking for other types of developments, whether it's mixed use, residential, cultural entities.
The Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office did a review of several agencies, and what it found was, on average, they only use about 25% of the space available in their entire headquarters. One more thing to point out about all of this, federal agencies, they don't pay taxes. So Matthews from that reform board says consolidating government space and then bringing in private sector entities perhaps could raise more property taxes and more taxes for the local economy.
A lot of good information. Thanks a lot, Mike McCarthy on Waste Watch tonight. Thank you very much, Mike.